You can spend your whole life preparing to live and never notice that preparation has quietly replaced living itself. You work, you plan, you save, you stay responsible, and from the outside it looks like discipline, but inside there is a quiet tension you do not always say out loud. You are building a future, but losing contact with the present. You tell yourself that peace will come later, rest will come later, joy will come later, and one day your real life will finally begin. But later is not a place you can control. It is only a promise your mind keeps making so you can tolerate the sacrifice of today. And if you're not careful, the life you keep saving for the future becomes the life you slowly abandon now. The pattern often begins with something that sounds responsible. You tell yourself that you will enjoy life after the next goal, after the next promotion, after the next financial milestone, after things finally calm down. It does not feel like avoidance at first. It feels mature. It feels practical. But slowly, your mind starts treating the present like a waiting room instead of a life. You delay rest, delay conversations, delay health, delay joy, delay time with people who matter. You keep moving through weeks that look productive but feel emotionally empty. The strange part is that nothing dramatic has to happen for this to become dangerous. Most of the damage does not happen in one big mistake. It happens through repetition. The first shift is to see that later can be useful for planning, but dangerous as a way of living. A responsible life still needs moments that feel alive now. You do not have to abandon ambition. You have to stop letting ambition become an excuse to disappear from your own days. Work can be meaningful, but it can also become a clean hiding place. It gives you structure, urgency, identity, and a reason to avoid looking at what feels unfinished inside you. You can be busy enough to never face your loneliness, your fear, your lack of direction, or the uncomfortable truth that success is not the same as peace. This is why some people look disciplined but feel internally scattered. They answer every message, finish every task, chase every deadline, but still feel distant from themselves. Their calendar is full, but their life feels thin. They are not lazy. They are not weak. They are simply using responsibility to avoid a deeper kind of honesty. Real responsibility is not just paying bills, meeting expectations, and surviving pressure. It is also being honest about the cost of the way you live. Sometimes the most responsible thing you can do is not to work harder. It is to stop using work as proof that you are okay when your life is quietly asking for attention every day. You are making a trade. You trade attention, energy, health, presence, and time for money, security, recognition, comfort, or approval. Some of that trade is necessary. Life requires effort. But the problem begins when you stop measuring what you're giving away. You only count what you earn, not what it costs you to earn it. You may gain income while losing sleep. You may build status while losing patience. You may protect your future while becoming unavailable in the present. You may say you're doing it for your family while giving them the most tired version of you. Slow down here. The real cost is not always financial. Sometimes the real cost is who you become while chasing safety. Clarity begins when you stop asking only, "What am I getting?" and start asking, "What am I becoming?" That question changes the entire equation. It does not make you careless. It makes you awake. A better life is not built by rejecting sacrifice. It is built by choosing sacrifices that do not destroy the person they are supposed to protect. There is a version of success that looks impressive from the outside, but feels strangely hollow from within. You have discipline, routines, goals, and progress, but something still feels missing. That missing thing is often not more money, more attention, or more achievement. It is connection with the life you are actually living. This is why you can reach a goal and feel relief instead of joy. You can buy something you wanted and feel nothing after a few days. You can finally get the thing you thought would make you feel free, only to realize your mind has already moved the finish line again. That is the quiet trap. You thought you were chasing freedom, but you were training yourself to postpone it. The reframe is simple, but not easy. Success should expand your life, not replace it. If every achievement only creates another reason to delay peace, then the problem is not your ambition. The problem is your relationship with enough. You need goals, but you also need the maturity to live before everything is perfect. For a long time, time feels abstract. You know life is limited, but you do not feel it in your body. You assume there will be more chances, more weekends, more conversations, more years to repair what you neglected. Then something happens, a health scare, a loss, a quiet birthday, a face in the mirror that looks older than you expected. That is when the future stops feeling like a guarantee and starts feeling like a question. The things that once seemed urgent begin to lose their power. The emails, the arguments, the small status games, the pressure to impress people who barely know you. You start to see how much energy went into things that were never going to matter in the end. But this realization is not meant to make you panic. It is meant to wake you up gently. Time becoming real can be painful, but it can also be clean. It can help you choose better. It can help you return to what matters before regret has to teach the lesson. And once you notice this, the next pattern becomes easier to see. The next pattern is harder to admit because it does not always look like failure. Sometimes you are absent while still being physically present. You sit at the table, but your mind is somewhere else. You answer the call, but you are rushing inside. You spend time with people, but part of you is still trapped in tomorrow. This kind of absence slowly changes the quality of your relationships. People stop expecting your full attention. They learn to speak quickly because they feel your mind leaving. You tell yourself you are doing your best, and maybe you are. But best effort without presence can still leave the people you love feeling alone beside you. Presence is not about having unlimited time. It is about giving the moment a clean part of you. Even 10 honest minutes can carry more weight than 3 distracted hours. This is where self-respect becomes relational. You do not only owe yourself a better life, you owe the people who love you a version of you that is actually there. Security is important, a stable life matters, but there is a point where the pursuit of security stops protecting you and starts controlling you. You begin making every decision from fear, you avoid every risk, delay every desire and call it wisdom. But sometimes what you call being careful is really your fear negotiating with your future. You stay in situations that drain you because they feel predictable. You remain in routines that keep you tired because they keep you safe. You tell yourself that once everything is more stable, you will make a change. But stability can become addictive. It can teach you to prefer a familiar prison over an uncertain door. The shift is not to become reckless. It is to understand that a safe life and a small life are not the same thing. Real security should give you room to breathe, not train you to obey fear. You need enough structure to stand, but enough courage to move. Otherwise, the cage will keep calling itself protection. Your mind can justify almost anything, but your body usually tells the truth first. It shows the cost through tension, poor sleep, shallow breathing, low patience, heavy mornings, and the quiet sense that even rest does not fully restore you. You may call it normal life, but normal does not always mean healthy. The body keeps the receipt for every season where you ignored yourself. Every skipped meal, every late night, every hour spent forcing focus through exhaustion, every emotion pushed down because there was no time to feel it. Eventually, the body stops whispering and starts interrupting. That is not weakness. That is information. A mature life does not treat the body like a machine that exists to carry ambition. Your body is part of your life, not an obstacle to your goals. Respecting it is not laziness. It is strategy. It is discipline with intelligence, because the future you are building will mean very little if you arrive there too drained to enjoy it. One of the quietest traps is living for future relief. You keep telling yourself that once this stressful period ends, you will finally breathe. Once this project is done, once the money is better, once the pressure drops, then you will return to yourself. But the mind can become addicted to postponing peace. The problem is that every season finds a new reason to stay tense. There is always another bill, another demand, another goal, another problem to solve, so relief keeps moving forward like a finish line that refuses to stay still. You are not chasing peace anymore. You are chasing permission to rest. Peace has to be practiced before life becomes perfect, because life may never become perfect. That does not mean ignoring responsibility. It means learning to breathe inside responsibility. A calm man is not someone without pressure. He is someone who refuses to let pressure own his entire inner world. At some point, vague awareness is not enough. You have to look directly at where your time is going, not where you think it goes, not where you wish it went, where it actually goes. This can feel uncomfortable because time reveals priorities more honestly than words do. Your calendar often tells the truth before your mouth does. You may discover that hours are disappearing into scrolling, reacting, worrying, recovering from overwork, or maintaining things you no longer truly value. You may see that the people who matter get your leftovers, while distractions get your best attention. This is not about shame. Shame wastes more time. This is about seeing clearly. The honest audit is the beginning of power. Once you see the pattern, you can choose differently. You can protect your mornings, reduce noise, create boundaries, and give your best energy to what still matters 10 years from now. This is where the real change begins, not with a dramatic promise, but with a cleaner use of today. After you see where your time is going, the next step is not to punish yourself, it is to return. Most people try to change their life by adding more pressure, more goals, more systems, more expectations. But when you have spent years abandoning the present, the first act of change is learning how to be here again without immediately running into the next demand. This sounds simple, but it can feel uncomfortable. When you slow down, you may notice how restless you are. You may reach for your phone without thinking. You may feel guilty for resting. You may realize that silence makes you face emotions you have been outrunning through productivity. This is where many people go back to noise. But presence is a skill, not a personality trait. You build it by giving full attention to small things again: a meal, a walk, a conversation, a quiet morning. You are not wasting time when you're actually inside your life. You are repairing your relationship with the only moment you have any real power over. There is a kind of discipline that makes you stronger, and there is a kind that teaches you to ignore yourself. The difference is important. Mature discipline gives your life order. Unhealthy discipline turns you into someone who only feels worthy when you're exhausted, useful, productive, or sacrificing something that should have been protected. You may have learned to push through everything. Push through tiredness, push through resentment, push through hunger, push through emotional distance, push through the quiet signals that something is wrong. At first, this looks powerful. But over time, it can become self-betrayal wearing the mask of ambition. This is not discipline. This is self-respect. Real discipline does not ask you to destroy your body, neglect your relationships, or postpone your peace forever. It helps you choose what matters and protect it. A disciplined life should make you more present, not less human. If you do not create boundaries, the world will spend your life for you. Other people's urgency will become your schedule. Other people's expectations will become your guilt. Other people's priorities will quietly replace your own. And because this happens slowly, you may not notice until you feel tired, resentful, and strangely disconnected from yourself. You say yes when you are already empty. You stay available when you need recovery. You answer messages during moments that should belong to your family, your health, or your peace. Then you wonder why your life feels like it has no room. The truth is uncomfortable. A life without boundaries becomes public property. A boundary is not rejection, it is direction. It tells your time where to go before the world decides for you. You do not need to explain every limit until people approve of it. You need to live in a way that proves your time has value. The people who benefit from your lack of limits may not like your boundaries, but your future will. One of the deepest forms of confidence comes from self-trust. Not loud confidence, not performance, not trying to look strong. Self-trust is quieter. It is the inner respect that grows when your actions match what you keep saying matters. You start believing yourself again because you stop making promises to your life and then abandoning them. Every time you say you will slow down but continue living in chaos, something inside you notices. Every time you promise to protect your health but keep treating your body like a tool, something inside you loses trust. The damage is not only in the habit, the damage is in the identity you reinforce through repetition. You rebuild self-trust through small, honest actions. You keep one promise, then another. You protect 1 hour. You make one difficult call. You rest without guilt once. You choose presence once. Slowly, your identity changes. You stop being someone waiting for life to begin and start becoming someone who can be trusted with the life he already has. Your energy is not unlimited, and pretending that it is will make you careless with it. You cannot give your best attention to everything. You cannot treat every request, every notification, every goal, every worry, and every opinion as equally important. A focused life begins when you stop giving premium energy to things with temporary value. Many people spend their sharpest hours reacting to noise, then bring their weakest self to what matters most. They give their morning to distraction, their patience to strangers, their mind to worry, and their tired leftovers to family, health, purpose, and peace. This is the quiet reversal that drains a life without making it look dramatic. The shift is to become selective with your best energy. Put your clearest mind where your future will thank you. Give your attention to what deepens your life, not only what demands your reaction. When you choose what deserves your best, your days stop feeling like accidents. They start becoming evidence of the person you are building. Real strength is not always visible. Sometimes it is built in the quiet moments where nobody applauds you for choosing better. It is built when you close the laptop on time, when you stop answering every demand, when you take care of your body, when you say no without making a performance out of it. Calm strength grows when your life stops being controlled by external pressure. This kind of strength may feel strange at first because it does not look dramatic. You are not proving anything. You are not chasing attention. You are simply becoming harder to pull away from yourself. The world may still be loud, urgent, and demanding, but your inner pace starts changing. You begin to move with more intention and less panic. That is the quiet power most people never build, not domination, not emotional coldness, not pretending nothing affects you. Calm strength means you can feel pressure without surrendering your whole life to it. You stop letting every demand become a command. You start becoming the kind of person who can carry responsibility without losing himself inside it. Many people want freedom, but they resist the order that makes freedom possible. They want more time, but their attention is scattered. They want peace, but their habits create noise. They want a better life, but their days are still shaped by impulse, distraction, guilt, and emotional reaction. Freedom does not come from having no structure. It comes from having the right structure without inner order. Even free time becomes wasted time. You finally get an open evening, and you spend it scrolling, worrying, or recovering from a life you keep overloading. You get a quiet morning, but your mind immediately fills it with pressure. This is where many people misunderstand freedom. They think they need escape, but they actually need direction. Inner order gives your life a center. It helps you decide what deserves your attention, what needs to be released, and what must be protected. It makes rest cleaner, work sharper, and relationships more present. When your inner world becomes less chaotic, your outer life does not need to be perfect for you to feel steady. Urgency has a way of pretending to be importance. The loudest thing in your day can easily steal energy from the most meaningful thing in your life. Messages, deadlines, small problems, other people's moods, sudden demands, and endless tasks can make you feel busy enough to believe you're living with purpose, but movement is not the same as meaning. You can spend an entire week solving urgent problems and still avoid the deeper work your life is asking for. You can handle every small demand while your health declines, your relationships weaken, your dreams fade, and your peace becomes something you barely remember. The urgent will always make noise, meaning usually waits quietly. The shift is to stop letting urgency decide the value of your day. Handle what must be handled, but do not worship pressure. Build space for what gives your life weight. A meaningful life is not created by reacting faster. It is created by returning again and again to what still matters when the noise is gone. Regret often arrives with a painful kind of clarity. It shows you what mattered after you have already spent too much time ignoring it. But you do not have to wait for loss, illness, age, or exhaustion to become your teacher. You can choose to listen earlier. You can let awareness correct your direction before pain has to force the lesson. Think about the calls you keep delaying, the rest you keep postponing, the health you keep negotiating with, the people you keep assuming will always be there, and the life you keep telling yourself you will enjoy later. These are not small details. They are the places where regret usually begins its quiet construction. To live before regret teaches you is to act while the choice still belongs to you. It means saying what needs to be said, changing what needs to be changed, and protecting what you would miss if it disappeared. You do not need fear to guide your life. You need honesty. Honesty is enough when you stop avoiding it. The powerful part is that you do not need to rebuild your entire life in one dramatic moment. Most real change begins smaller than people expect. A protected morning, a more honest conversation, a boundary that gives you space to breathe, a decision to rest before your body has to force you, a choice to be present instead of simply available. You may not be able to control every pressure around you, but you can begin changing your relationship with time. You can stop treating your life like something that starts after achievement. You can stop making your peace dependent on a perfect future. You can stop paying with your presence for things that do not deserve your whole soul. This is where the journey becomes practical, not loud, not dramatic, practical. You start choosing better days, and better days slowly become a better life. You start protecting what matters, and your identity begins to change. The life you can still choose is not somewhere far away. It is hidden inside what you repeatedly do next. You do not need to reject ambition to live more fully. You do not need to abandon responsibility to reclaim your time. You only need to stop confusing constant sacrifice with a meaningful life. The future matters, but it should not become the place where you store every joy, every conversation, every dream, every moment of peace. A mature life is not built by escaping work. It is built by making sure your work does not erase the person it was supposed to support. Look at your days honestly. Protect your attention. Respect your body. Be present with the people who matter. Choose the kind of discipline that brings you back to yourself, not the kind that slowly empties you. And if this message helped you see your life with more clarity, subscribe for more calm, practical reflections on growth, discipline, self-respect, and inner peace. Do not wait until the end to realize what was always valuable. Your time is not a reward for later. It is your life now.